We define ourselves through our history, culture, and food, but we so rarely think to stop and ask, how does it all work? Revealed examines the hows and whys while pulling the curtain back on the things you never thought to ask. On this episode, the rich history and food of the Arthur Avenue.
There's nowhere like the experience on Arthur Avenue anywhere.
Me, I go down a block, I know people in every block. You spend the whole day chatting.
It's one of the Bronx's worst kept secrets.
It's known all around the country and even around the world, Arthur Avenue in the Bronx.
The neighborhood has been a melting pot.
It's a neighborhood built by immigrants.
It's the true meaning of the immigrant story. They came here with nothing.
But it's best known for its food.
Fresh, large ravioli, fresh egg noodle dough.
Awesome mozzarella.
I'm gonna have some pizza, maybe some gelato.
Come to Arthur Avenue, go to Terra Nova at Madonia Radio for bread.
My father always said, feed the people, make them have an experience. That's beautiful mozzarella.
Italian place is the best.
Arthur Avenue is famous for its authentic Italian markets, bakeries, delis, and restaurants. A place where tradition meets innovation and businesses are handed down through the generations.
They're good restaurants that have been in this area, have been here for years.
Mario's is over 100 years old.
So is Tidal.
It's been called one of the great streets of America, but it's more than just a culinary destination.
The diversity here and the heritage is nothing like it.
Arthur Avenue is a vibrant neighborhood spanning several streets in the Belmont section, known for its rich history, authentic Italian cuisine, and bustling markets. Arthur Avenue is a cultural hub where generations of Italian-American traditions continue to thrive.
I'm David Greco. We're here at Mike's Deli in the Arthur Avenue Market in the real Little Italy of the Bronx.
This building is a bustling microcosm of Bronx's Little Italy, and David Greco has been working here since he was a kid.
I'm working behind the counter since I'm 12. So it's going to be 47 years this year. His father took care of my father. Now, him and I always say our fathers were better looking, but we still work together. My father came from Calabria. He said his father gave him $50, 3 suits, and his good looks. And he did really well with that. He came to America. His uncle had set up for him to work for my mother's family, which was a butcher shop outside. They didn't need him to work, so he started working here for a Calabrese family who he loved the father, and the guy loved my father, and he would say to my father, "You're gonna take over this business." And my father said, "You have 2 sons." He goes, "Yeah, but they're Americanized, you're not." My father, you had to work. There was no free ride. Mozzarella, mozzare is to stretch. You see that silky? That's beautiful mozzarella. So now, to make the mozzarella, you cut and seal. And now you create la faccia. This is the face of the mozzarella now. Gentile, gentile all around, and then you seal your mozzarella. And that's why this mozzarella is perfect. Very quick. This is homemade mozzarella. Since he's in a diaper, this kid's been eating here.
This particular area was originally purchased and sold by a guy called J.P. Lorillard, Jacques-Pierre Lorillard. And he came here and bought this land and used to raise tobacco.
Arthur Avenue's origins date back to 1760, when Lorillard settled here and opened up a tobacco company. Its original building still stands today.
If you go to the New York Botanical Gardens, I believe the oldest building there is called the Old Snuff Mill, and that was his factory.
During the Revolutionary War, Lorillard was killed, leaving the company to his widow and 5 sons. For nearly 100 years, the Lorillard family owned and operated the tobacco company in what is now the Belmont neighborhood. In 1870, Catherine Lorillard Wolfe inherited her great-grandfather's vast estate of tobacco manufacturing businesses.
And by that time, in the late 1800s, the property was owned by the original J.P. Lorillard's great-grandniece, who was the wealthiest woman in the country at the time. And she decided, we no longer need this property, and she gave most of it away.
Catherine Lorillard Wolfe sold portions of the area off, and legend has it she played a part in the naming of Arthur Avenue.
they laid out the streets, and she named the streets after people she thought were worthy. So Arthur Avenue, which is the main street, was named after her close friend and president at the time, President Chester A. Arthur.
By the turn of the 20th century, immigration was at its peak in the U.S., and people from countries facing famine, joblessness, and crop failures, among other plights, made their way to a new life. Settling predominantly in urban areas, Italian immigrants found new homes in the bustling neighborhoods down the East Coast, where tight-knit communities known as Little Italies began to flourish. In New York, many made their homes on the Lower East Side around Mulberry Street, while others moved to the Bronx. Arthur Avenue and the surrounding Belmont section of the Bronx were built by Italian immigrants who carved out a life here, bringing with them flavors and customs that would define the neighborhood for generations.
They were literally building the buildings, building Fordham University, building the Bronx Zoo, building the Botanical Gardens, and they settled on this land.
By the beginning of the 20th century, the Bronx became part of the greater city of New York, and the neighborhood was a haven for Italian immigrants who settled here. Many made their way by selling goods, but often didn't have the money to afford to set up shop.
We had push carts on the street, and we had bakers selling baked goods, but no one could afford an oven. So they had communal ovens up there. You joined the union, and you would go up and bake for a few hours and come down and sell yourself on the street.
Arthur Avenue once buzzed with the activity of push carts, where Italian immigrants displayed their fresh produce and handmade goods, bringing a taste of the old country to the Bronx.
They were long-bedded carts with two posts that came out that you could pick them on the wheel and push them. They were 10, 12, sometimes 15 feet long. And they didn't just sell bread. They sold meats, cheeses, they sold clothing, products, dry goods, anything you could imagine was there.
But as the city evolved, then Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia decided a new solution was needed.
Mayor LaGuardia built this market, and he did this to help the peddlers that were outside.
LaGuardia thought that the pushcart markets were bad for the city's image. With more cars on the streets, the pushcarts were moved indoors in 1941 when the Arthur Avenue retail market was opened.
It was divided into spots big enough to put one pushcart in. So originally people just went and put their pushcarts in.
The market quickly became a cornerstone of the community and a monument to Italian-American culture. Today the market hosts far fewer vendors than it once did, but businesses like Mike's Deli, which has been there since 1951, continue to serve tradition, sometimes with a modern twist.
This is called Italian sushi. Prosciutto di Parma, mozzarella, arugula, sun-dried peppers. Then we have a balsamic dipping and a pesto dipping sauce. No carbs.
Chef David took over the 80-year-old staple, but the deli still bears the name of his father, who died in 2019. Today he blends tradition with new ideas, but always keeping an eye on quality.
The food here is great.
Today, we're making the Bobby D special. That's right, Bobby D after my friend Robert De Niro. Bobby D. Robert De Niro's favorite sandwich, prosciutto, thinly sliced mozzarella, chunks of Parmigiano, figs, truffle oil, roast peppers, reduced balsamic. It's truly one of our top sellers. I have the best Italian combo in New York. We put Big Mike after my father on it. That's made with provolone and all the Italian specialties like prosciutto cotta, mortadella, cabigol, sopressata. Then we top it the way you like it. So the most important part of the Italian combo, the ripe bread. So that's your foundation of your sandwich. Beautiful bread, smells amazing. We start capicolo. Mangia. You won't get this in New Jersey. Sopressata, a little spicy. This mozzarella was just made. You can see how warm and juicy. Right in the machine we slice it. First we eat a piece. The best part. I always say the cameramen have to eat. Now this is how we finish it. We have a mixed greens where we put some arugula and mixed greens and tomato. Very important, the tomato. Onions. And then for you guys, I can tell you, you're gonna sweeten hot peppers we're gonna do. A little of our pesto, a little extra virgin from Tuscany. A lot of guys say they make a good sandwich, but nobody makes a sandwich like that. They talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. That's the Yankee Stadium big boy.
Today, Mike's Deli ships its famous eats across the United States. Though things change, an often lamented feeling around these parts, is a harking back to tradition and a respect for what came before.
My father was a very hard worker and he was dynamic. He was a true meaning of a showman. This was his stage. He loved being at the deli, he loved taking care of people, he loved making people feel good. He used to be able to sing to them and look into their eyes, but at the same time, his motto was always, you serve the best quality, you give the best service, you'll always have the best customers. And I've sacrificed profit for quality because I don't like serving stuff that I won't eat. If I don't eat it, I'm not serving it to you.
Coming up.
Back then, you could literally rent a store, put in a table, cook upstairs and sell your product.
Businesses built to last.
So those little mom and pop stores have now developed into multi-million-dollar businesses.
With foods that have gained national attention.
We ship to all 50 states now, and it's become a huge part of our business. I don't know if that was ever something my great-grandparents could ever imagine when they opened this store.
Arthur Avenue isn't just a street, it's a gastronomic journey.
People love talking about food, what they've had, what they had to eat. Oh, I got the best mozzarella here, I got the best cannoli there, whatever.
Who doesn't love food? I mean, food is food.
It's the love language of the world.
You have to really come down here to get some of like the really good food.
Lasagna, pizza, Arturo's, Process Street.
Delis around here have great stuff.
I'm gonna have some pizza, pasta with clams, maybe some gelato.
You could come to the neighborhood, you could purchase everything that you needed for a meal and have it be fresh that day. That's what makes it a culinary mecca.
Here, family-run bakeries, butchers, and restaurants have been serving up Italian specialties for over a century. Each recipe a legacy handed down through generations.
People opened up businesses back then. I mean, you can't open a business in New York anymore. I think it takes over $1 million to open up anything. But back then, you could literally rent a store, put in a table, cook upstairs and sell your products downstairs. And those little mom and pop stores have now developed into multi-million-dollar businesses, employing hundreds of people.
I'm Christopher Borgatti, and we're here at Borgatti's Ravioli.
And I'm also Christopher Borgatti here at Borgatti's Ravioli.
I have to work this dough, which is going to build up the strength of it. Flour, eggs, and water. Maybe because it's New York City water. Secret ingredient, maybe? It's actually letting you know when it's going to be ready. It's a process, but it's worth the wait. It all began with my grandparents, Linda and Maria Borgatti, who immigrated from Emilia-Romagna as teenagers around the turn of the century. Grandma had recipes to make pasta, of course. By taking these simple recipes, in 1935, they opened up Borgatti's Ravioli, and they had their 6 sons at the time. My father, Mario, was 18 at that time, and just by using a ravioli form made out of wood that my Uncle George made. They were using this to form the raviolis until they got the machine, and that's how it all began.
It's these recipes passed down through the generations that have kept Borgatti's in business for nearly a century.
Fresh, large ravioli are very popular. For lasagna, manigotti squares. We cut up the fettuccine fresh, the linguine fresh. You're gonna come in, we're gonna weigh this pasta up for you and cut it right before you and wrap it up. So it doesn't get any fresher than that.
The ravioli are gonna come out this way. We cut them in 3s, and then we put them up here, and then they'll be packed over there. It's a very simple process where, you know, weight is pushing the filling down, and then it's being pumped into the like little pockets, which form the ravioli. You know, because this is a fresh product and we sell most of our ravioli fresh, we'll freeze some of our specialties. We want to make sure that our customers are getting it fresh, so we don't like to overproduce. You know, we want to make enough for the day, we want to sell out that day, and we want to come in early the next morning and make the next batch.
The results are by those who come here, and they're always telling us, I've had others, there's nothing to compare. Tony Bennett came walking in one Saturday, so we all wanted to get a picture with Tony Bennett. So what happens is, we all run out,
and I was the only
we
one
left
left to
Chris
work
in the store to take care of customers, and he goes,
I was the only one on the counter.
I'm not in the picture.
Christopher Borgatti, not that one, that's right. He started working here when he was 18 in 1976.
I started out here sweeping floors, packing flour, slotting boards behind a ravioli machine. I made a decision to helped my father at that time, and I've been here ever since. And it's almost 50 years now.
And his son has now followed in his footsteps.
I kind of like grew up here in the back, you know, playing with my trucks in the cornmeal like a sandcastle would. Through grammar school, like Christmas break, I'd be here on the ravioli counter bagging up ravioli for customers. And when I went to Fordham University, I transferred into their night school program, and it allowed me to take classes at night, work here during the day, and that's where I was able to kind of help the business grow and also get an education. A lot of here is done by hand, so, you know, it takes time, it takes work, but it makes the product better.
Like other businesses here, they have had to evolve to survive, but the recipes and products never change.
We kind of built out a whole shipping platform. You know, we ship to all 50 states now, and it's become a huge part of our business. We have customers from all over the country now. You know, we ship out orders to even like Hawaii, Alaska. We have our followings down in Florida. These are all like places that either people used to live up here and they moved away, or people who've just heard about us through word of mouth. I don't know if that was ever something my great-grandparents could ever imagine. When they opened the store, this was just like a place, you know, we're gonna provide for our family, you know, we're gonna keep the family business going, but then now it's become almost like a nationally known thing. I don't know if anybody ever thought that was possible.
While the Borgani family legacy reaches across the United States, back in the Bronx, Arthur Avenue continues to be a cornerstone of the local economy and cultural representation.
This little neighborhood is responsible for almost 2,000 jobs. This is an important economic engine, and mind you, our community is in the poorest congressional district in the entire United States, and all this economic activity is being generated on essentially just 4 or 5 blocks in that entire congressional district, employing a good portion of this community.
Arthur Avenue is known for a lot of significant things.
There's Dion DiMucci of Dion and the Belmonts, probably the best known doo-wop group. I mean, they were #1 with a dozen top 10 singles. Nan Bancroft was born right on Arthur Avenue. Her real name is Anna Maria Italiani.
The street was even the inspiration and setting for 1933's The Bronx Tale. While Arthur Avenue has its famous residents and history, its annual festival is probably one of its most frequented events.
Ferragosto is probably the oldest practiced holiday in the world. It is the feast of Augustus and was proclaimed upon Octavian assuming the mantle of the first emperor of Rome and declaring himself the Emperor Augustus. We don't do it on August 15th here. We do it on the Sunday after Labor Day.
Our festival, there's 30,000 people in the street. The merchants are in the street doing their thing, and you feel like you're somewhere special.
I could walk down the street and run into like everyone I know. It's like a neighborhood reunion every year.
Arthur Avenue, the heart of the Bronx's Little Italy, is a bustling testament to the enduring spirit of its immigrant founders. Each storefront, a story of tradition.
We've been here since 1973. Same owners, you know, like the recipe's the same. We specialize in sausages, dry suppressata, we make fresh mutts here. The world famous sausage chandelier, right now on the ceiling, we got close to 15,000 pounds.
But an oft-asked question remains, where is the real Little Italy?
We didn't pick that name for ourselves. We don't have that hubris to turn around and say, oh, we're the real Italy. RAI, Italian Television, was in New York doing a documentary on Little Italy's. And they came up here and said, you guys are the real Italy. If the Italians want to call us the real Italy, we're happy to take the title.
I started saying it's the real Little Italy. I've been saying it since the 80s. Why I feel it's the real Little Italy? Because you feel the Italian vibe here. And this is the finale.
It's like going back in time. It's like walking through Italy or old New York, like in the 20s, and you feel like you're in the Godfather movie. You see all these different restaurants, and the way that people shop. They go from the fishmonger to the cheese shop, to the little delicatessen, to the pizza place. It's got an old school feel to it, and people still know each other. People saying, hey, how you doing? You know, like, it's just a neighborhood, and it's just a beautiful thing to see people retaining this charm and this culture.
Sometimes people come in here with 3 women, the grandmother, the mother, and the child. It's like 3 generations of people.
Whatever pizzeria you walk into, you're going to get an amazing slice. They're all different. Whatever restaurant you walk into, you're going to get a different dish of pasta. So when I say you come to Arthur Avenue, you get an experience, there's nowhere like the experience on Arthur Avenue anywhere.
Arthur Avenue is a testament to the resilience and dreams of immigrants who arrived searching for a slice of the American dream.
Who wouldn't want to spend time keeping their own neighborhood safe, clean, secure? So I don't really see it as volunteering for the neighborhood. I'm actually helping myself by helping my community stay nice, because I have no plans on going anywhere. I was born in this house and plan on dying here.
The street has evolved, yet it retains the soul of its origins.
Come the 90s and 2000s, we were just like surprised that the neighborhood is still here and thriving. And now, you know, the same old businesses and new businesses opening up, and business better than ever, because it's not just the Italian community that's here that we're noted for. There's a large Albanian community here. And of course, there's a large Mexican population. So I don't see anything changing in the near future.
You don't come to Arthur Avenue not to have an experience. I make sure when you leave my counter, you are fully satisfied and fully full.
Working together as a family, you know, it's fun. You're going to disagree on things, but at the end of the day, you know everyone's got your back here.